Alright guys, let's go again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Roster drama returning just as these Major 2 qualifiers get underway. Rumours that some of the teams that didn't make moves after Major 1 might need to do so right about now. Octane is not especially happy about a couple of teams, especially Surge, saying all their players are basically terrible, and if they're not terrible, they're the same player that they've been for several years, and therefore things need to change as soon as possible. Aches reckons that Falcons, they've got to blow it up as well after failing to improve at all since they went to the Major. What do you guys think should happen in the comments? Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Wanted to start here. John put this together, thought was kind of interesting. CDL death efficiency. So this graph compares players by their damage per 10 minutes in hardpoint and their deaths per 10 minutes. So it's not kill death precisely, it's damage to deaths. So this is efficiency of death. So how much damage do you deliver per times you die? Now, there is a slight upward trend here, which you would expect. If you die more often, you're likely getting in the mix a bit more, therefore you're likely going to have more damage. It's not a outrageous relationship, but it is nonetheless an upward trend in general. The graph is a little messy because he's attached all of the player names to their logo, but he's attached them by like a line here. So it's a little bit difficult to look at. I think he said that Ghosty as well has the Thieves badge, whereas, yeah, as you can see here, but really he should have the Gentamates one. Whatever, you can find your favourite player on this list. The point is, CleanX, and even Purge really, but CleanX is interestingly positioned, given that he's been an AR, a flex player so far this season. He has basically the highest deaths per 10 minutes in the entire league apart from Purge, but his damage is in a good spot with respect to that. Purge is dying a lot and not really doing enough damage to compensate theoretically. So this is the corner where you don't really want to be, you would think anyway. Now, of course, this does depend on roles. You're going to find more SMGs down here generally, but over the season so far, it's true that HyDra, Shotzzy, Huke even really, obviously ReeaL's down here as well, have been pretty underwhelming, right? So given where they have been, certainly on land, right? Shotzzy on land, different story. HyDra, I think, will get better for sure, but it's interesting to see HyDra and Shotzzy kind of in a similar position on this graph. Again, by ARs, it's going to be different. Scrap, as always, is in a league of his own when it comes to damage delivered, and he's, you know, reasonable in the deaths for 10 minutes, so looks like Scrap's pretty well positioned. JoeDeceives is up here, Simp is here, Mercules, Dashy, etc. Sib is over in this kind of ballpark. So it is interesting because there's quite a lot of discrepancy here, really. What I do find fascinating is that aBeZy is way down the list. You know, aBeZy's down here with Ghosty, Celium, Insight, Super, Rancor in terms of deaths per 10 minutes. So not playing at the pace you might expect. Is that because he's getting in the hill a bit more? Is that just because Thieves are kind of lost in hardpoint? You know, their players are all over the place on this graph. That is interesting. Rancor is also a big outlier here because he has very, very strong damage, basically the second highest of anyone apart from Scrap, but he's not really dying at all. So is that good or bad, right? Because he's getting a lot of kills, he's, doing a lot of damage as well, but he's not dying a lot. So either he's just that guy, which to be fair in hardpoint he has been so far this season, but there's also the logic to say that, well, when you die, you're more likely to get traded. Is that beneficial for the team? Possibly, but if you don't die at all because you've killed everyone, that's probably better, isn't it? So anyway, thought this is pretty interesting to see the discrepancy so far. We did see Scrap a few days ago do a charity stream for suicide prevention. You guys, well, we talked about it a little bit at the time because it came, coincidentally or not, one day after he put this in Benjay's chat. Now, Shotzzy has done the same thing as of last night. So I thought this is really nice to see, actually. So Shotzzy puts this together yesterday. Does make me wonder a little bit whether the whole Scrap, like, suicide prevention charity stream was actually planned rather than just being a reaction. But whatever it is, I thought this is really nice. So yeah, shout out Shotzzy and everyone supporting that. Couple of other updates. Cloud9, they've put together that roster that we talked about this morning. Obviously, they've not actually made an offer for Simp, but Drazah was saying, look, please don't leave me, bro. Like, you know, you are the franchise, right? Simp, the franchise at FaZe, and their team has been good so far this season. Other teams, though, not so much. So after the Major, I think we might have expected more blow-it-ups, really, from various teams. We eventually saw Cloud9 do a complete nuclear detonation, which we've not seen really before in the CDL, to drop the entire team after Stage 1, certainly not during the course of a regular season. Thieves obviously made their move as well, but apart from that, most teams sticking it out, going again. And for a lot of teams, if we look here at the Major 2 standings so far, that made some sense. Obviously, Thieves did make the move, OpTic weren't going to do anything, Gentlemates G2, they did well, Heretics played pretty well at the Major, Ravens, yeah, they got slapped on LAN, but online, where it's important, they still looked pretty good. FaZe came third. Boston probably could have done, but they got the win yesterday, a big one against the Falcons. Falcons came top 8 at the Major, but they lost to OpTic and FaZe. They looked good online, so that was understandable. Surge, I was surprised, didn't do anything. Toronto, I was somewhat surprised, didn't do anything either. So the fact that of the 12, I think many would have expected post-Major 1 to see probably 4 teams, maybe more than that, make some sort of swap, but that's not what we saw. Sometimes, though, this has happened in the past. We expect roster moves, they don't really happen, but they're on the verge, right? Like, the team decided not to, but they very much could have done. And often that means that things will change quite swiftly afterwards. The problem is that you might say, oh, well, you've got to wait for LAN again to get another proper marker. But it's tough to say. Online matters a lot. If, let's say, one of these teams goes 11-0 in these qualifiers, they make more points from just the qualifiers than they would for actually winning the LAN event, which is outrageous. But this online stint is very important. If you suck right now and you're about to lose your next 9-10 qualifiers you're going to play over the coming weeks, that's a lot of points. You know, teams will make champs based on this online stint alone. It's like that important in terms of points. It shouldn't be, but it is. So it's relevant. Octane is not very happy about Vancouver Surge. He actually went really hard on them here, and I can understand it, right? They were a kind of a non-factor at the Major. They beat Ravens on LAN. Okay, congratulations. But so far this season, they've just been a very kind of dead and predictable team. They lost to Thieves. It's the only game that they've played here so far. But yeah, Legend was an interesting option for them. It was kind of exciting to see, but that didn't last particularly long. So then TJ's in. And yeah, TJ's doing exactly what you expect him to do. He's going to deliver in search. The other game modes, it ain't looking so pretty. But Octane says, look, TJ, you're kind of like your time's up in a sense, because you've just been the same player for an awful long time. Abe is getting fried. Gwinn, it's a weird one because we felt like he joins this team to play with Legend. There was some excitement about that duo, but then Legend got fried. Gwinn wasn't very happy about it. Gwinn certainly isn't moving in the right direction, right? Like, his first year on Ravens was good. Did he really get better the year after? Not really. And now this year, you know, okay, he's on a bad team. I still think Gwynn's a player with potential, but people did call him Gwinternet for a reason. His LAN performances weren't delivering to the hype, and you know, the thought is maybe he's just a non-factor on the map. Lunarz did have a good performance at the Major, like he had a decent couple of series there, but overall, he's been getting slammed as well. So Octane, very critical of Surge, says they've got to do something ASAP. Akes then talks about the Falcons. Now, Falcons' loss to Gentlemates wasn't the end of the world, but the loss to Boston was a big deal, because as I said, I think that was kind of a must-win for Boston, so it makes it a very difficult one to take if you're the Falcons, especially because they won Game 1 against the Gentlemates, then Paris turned up and they won the next 3 maps, but they would have expected to bounce back against Boston, certainly after some of the questions after the Major between Pred and Xnid, what's going on there. Kismet even said he's not particularly happy running the flex, so all of a sudden it's like, hang on a second, it feels like there are a few problems emerging in that Falcons camp. The improvement isn't really hitting as it has done, so is it time to go?
Somebody up that we don't know about, bro. Go fucking find somebody that's gonna potentially move the needle. T's been the same player for 6 fucking years, man. I'm sorry. I love Tej. I fuck with Tej. Tej is great. Gwinn is also useless. He has been the same player for 4 years. Now, is that his fault? Probably not, because like, he only had Austin, who was fucking probably losing composure.
No,
but like, bro, that is his fault. Fuck him. That is his fault. Fuck him too. Fuck him too. Lunarz is the worst player on LAG. Lunarz is the worst player on LAG last year. Somehow he has a league spot. That guy's also dog shit. He had a good event though, so I'll tip that. Abe, I mean, he got an opportunity on Toronto, which I don't even. He should probably still be on Toronto with Nasty, honestly. But
the plumber error, bro.
I don't care about Vancouver. This team fucking blows, and all their players fucking blow. I'm sorry, bro. I'm thinking about how I thought about Falcons last year. I have no interest in anything that these guys do. It is what it is, bro. I got no
That's
interest at
the
all.
New Year we're talking about the Falcons being mid-pack. Yeah, they're mid-pack. Emphasis on mid. These guys suck, bro. They're roster change, bro. Now, like tomorrow, get on the phone tonight.
Who are you dropping?
Bro, I mean, for sure X did, and for sure, honestly, Predator Kids, bro. Look, I'm just in this spot now where it's like this team is not getting better. There's no improving. Like, there's no like actual improving with this squad. It's just not gonna happen. There's not like, let's just get in the fucking lab, guys. No, make a roster change and get better, bro. Now that's literally it. I'm tired of seeing mid-pack, like potential teams be mid-pack because they're scared to fucking make changes. But yeah, the team sucks. Not going in.
I don't know what happened.
Is Shotzzy the worst player on this OpTic squad? You guys' opinion?
No.
Online, he played great.
No, I do not think Shotzzy's the worst.
From what I've seen so far, overall,
yeah, he's been doing some bullshit.
Major one, he played excellent.
Yeah, overall, not one weekend. Overall,
he was the MVP candidate.
I mean, that lane, he played great.
You're just,
he's playing.
No, wait, John, you missed last episode. Pat cares about online now. Pat cares about online now.
Question. Overall, so far on the season so far, how would you guys rank OpTic's players 1 through 4?
Merc's the GOAT.
Merc's number one.
I got Merc, Huke, Dashy, Shotzzy. That's my four.
That order is stupid, bro.
That's my overall. That's my 4.
But Shotzzy does stuff that the scoreboard doesn't show. In my opinion.
Pat's defending online COD right now.
Pat's an online COD apologist, bro. I've seen it all, bro. I have seen it all.
I know you weren't on the show Friday, but it's just like certain things that Shotzzy does just always opens the map up for the team. Like even the route he took at the end of the score.
Right, but he's still not in that top tier stuff. But I think most people would agree with that. I think most of the outside community, non-OpTic fans, would agree that Shotzzy's not like an elite sub based on this whole season. I don't think he's overrated. I'd probably say, I guess I have to pick like Huke. I don't think anyone's truly overrated on OpTic. But I got a gun to my head where I got to pick someone, so I guess I'd go Huke. I could see the argument for Dashy though, because Dashy's not really the superstar player he was. And what he's doing now works. Like his Brandon's playstyle works for the team. He has Merc, the new young superstar. He's got Shotzzy. But Dashy's not really that guy anymore. And I think still a lot of people still think he's the same Dashy from 3, 4, 5 years ago. Heretic, I'd say rank or no? Heretics, it was super, no doubt for me.
Will we see any teams blurred up over the coming days? We'll see about that. Of course, also some talk here that I thought I'd share about the OpTic question. X is always going to talk about a little bit. JCap was talking the other day as well. Who's the most overrated on OpTic? Now, as he did say in the video there, he was kind of forced by his chat to give a player, like he had to name someone being overrated in all the various teams, and it can't really be Mercules. So, then your options are relatively limited from there. Shotzzy, again, online has not been great, but on LAN and his success, it's very difficult to say anything against that. So I think that JCap's probably right, but yeah, it's difficult to say, right? On teams like that, reigning world champions, I think on some level, the teams with the most fans, they always get like slightly overrated because that just is a natural consequence of having more fans. You're going to rate your players maybe higher than they should be rated or an average. Doesn't mean that they're bad players, right? Like, if Dashy is overrated, that's not like a bad thing. I mean, people consider Dashy to be the best, second best, third best AR in the entire game. Maybe people on average have him the second best. He's actually the third best. It's like, well, okay, maybe he's overrated, but he's still pretty damn good, right? So I think it's difficult to always judge, but intrigued to your thoughts as ever in the comment section below. Will we get some roster drama over the coming days? It's absolutely possible. So hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.